lost all the lessons that her daddy taught. Can't move the thoughts, what we lost in the process. Love talking progress, guess they lack conscience. Blast from the past where you find this. Used to have to hide it, now it's fuck haters, change the climate.
You are now tuned in to the NNOVISION show hosted by Executive Z.
Here, right now, in Columbus with DUECE. What's cracking with you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Like I said, man, a lot been going on lately, man. A lot of good stuff, man. And a lot of, a couple other things going on, whatever, man. But I'm glad to be here today.
As it should be, as it should be. It's a blessing to meet up. Timing was right. We here. It's 8 o'clock, right on the dot.
Facts.
And we active. You know what I'm saying?
Type shit.
And just so y'all know, DUECE got a project, you know what I'm saying, South City.
Tight. Yeah, nah, man, it's confusing. A lot of people wish that, bro, but it's, yeah.
But yeah. But look. Hey, yo, South City project is on all platforms, Apple, Spotify, Tidal, Google, Amazon. It's active, you know what I'm saying? Streaming on all platforms. So make sure y'all tune in, tap in, get active. You talking some shit, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And it's very relatable. I like the content and I'm feeling it, you know what I'm saying? So before we get further into that, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a bet, man. Like I said, DUECE, man, that's an acronym for Dream Under Every Circumstance Existing.
Okay.
Born and raised on the south side of Columbus, you feel me? So I've literally only lived on 2 streets my whole life. Excluding like when I was way at school, but like here, I've only lived on Gears and Seymour, even to this day, like moved around a couple different houses, but yeah, I mean, and like I said, man, I'm just, just a neighborhood dude, bro. I'm just a guy from the neighborhood, man. I think faith plays a big role in who I am.
For sure.
I derive a lot of that, you know what I'm saying? Just even now, just learning more and growing as a Christian is helping me grow as a man. Mm-hmm. Community is very important to me because it's really given me everything. When I moved back from school, the community really gave me an identity and it gave me something to believe in, to work towards and stuff like that. So, I always say at every show, man, I do it for God, I do it for my community, and I do it for my people, you feel me? Just,
For sure. I mean, and I appreciate that you tapped in on the community aspect. The community is very important. Where you come from, the ties related to that community and how you can impact that community, especially with what you're doing as an artist. You know what I'm saying? That's very essential because you're a voice, you're an advocate. So you have people in that community that are listening to your voice. You know what I'm saying? So I respect that a lot. So I appreciate you for sharing that with us and the audience out there so they can further engage with you as a person. You know what I'm saying? For sure. So, speaking on you as an artist, what inspired you to step into that realm of being an artist?
So really, man, for me being an artist, man, the way that it came across was really, man, like I think growing up, I really always enjoyed music.
Okay.
I wanted to be a singer. I can't sing. And then, like I said, man, it was kind of a long time coming because growing up in a neighborhood, you feel me, where it's not a lot of resources, especially younger. I was born in '93, so you feel me. Now everybody got a home studio, everybody got a laptop. So you're talking about like people getting computers in their houses and stuff like that. A studio was something you didn't even think about. And music at that time being dominated by the South, by the East Coast, by the West Coast, you feel me? It's like you don't even think it's a possibility. Like I'm just a dude from Ohio.
Yeah.
So I shelved that for a long time, man. I played sports. Just like I said, just kind of got on the path that they tell you to get on when you grow up in the hood. It's like, either go to school, you feel me, be really good at school, or you better be really good at ball. And, I just happened to excel in both. Sure. Not necessarily early on in either one, man. Both of those was a grind, but I got to a point where, straight A student, football player and stuff like that. And so I went off to school and went to a place called Morehead State down in Kentucky. And that's really how it all kind of starts shaping because I start going to school with people from different places.
Exactly.
And so they start opening my mind. And like I said, it is 2011. So now that home studio, like the setups and stuff like that is starting to come out. So I'm sitting in the dorm room with my homie Jamal, and he sits me in front of my first mic.
That's crazy.
And we just fucking around and stuff like that, man. And then it's just like, but then it started to get like a little bit more serious, a little bit more serious, a little bit more serious. And then, it's always between ball and music. And when ball wasn't going on, I loved music. But when ball was going, I stopped doing music. And in 1 year, I just like, you know what? Fuck playing football. And I just started making music, man, and, derived the name DUECE. Like I said, dream under every circumstance existing. Just pulled that together, man, because I was in a tight spot at the time when I started making music.
For sure.
And like I said, man, that's really what made me just kind of go to music. It's something I've always had passion for.
For sure.
Entertaining, I think, is something I always had passion for, but I just didn't have an outlet. And then I got somewhere and had an outlet, and it was like, bet, now we on.
I fuck with that. And it's interesting that you brought up playing sports and being involved in those type of things, because myself personally, you know, I played football, I ran track and did those different things. And, you know, I have my own personal circumstances. You know, I lost football. I got, you know, started running the streets a little bit because I lost that structure, that balance. But like you said, it was a point to where I was like, fuck football. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's more inside of me, and I know I had to tap into myself. So it's dope that you tapped into that deeper self to understand, you know, you know what I'm saying? Because that's important, because, you know, a lot of people don't feel like they have those different options. A lot of people don't feel like they have that deeper depth of vision. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, with you being an artist and for you to be able to step into that other path, that shows, you know, your versatility. So that's real dope. So outside of that, you kind of touched on, you know, some questions about how you started. Started out in a dorm, you tapped in with the homies, and then you just had that access. So like you had mentioned, access is important. So tap in and explain to other artists how important access is, and, you know, just being open-minded to your resources, especially in 2021.
Man, honestly, man, access is everything. And like I said, lucky for artists that, like, it's easier to be an artist, but it's harder to be an artist because everything's so saturated because everybody can do it.
Facts.
But I think a big thing is that my cousin told me, I was hitting him up, my cousin Deontay, he owns Soul Classic, and he said, you know.
Oh, that's your cousin?
That's my cousin.
That's crazy. Okay, that's probably how I see you then, because I used to be on North High Street all the time, and I used to go to Soul Classics all the time. That's crazy.
It's a possibility, like I said,
maybe.
man.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, it was me and him, man. Like I said, he's definitely super dope.
That's crazy.
Just on a side story,
Yeah.
I remember I was probably about, you know, you growing up in the hood, and I remember I was in high school,
For sure.
and somebody broke into our house and stole our Xbox, and Deontay gave me his old Xbox, and on that actual Xbox was Reasonable Doubt.
Okay.
And so that was like super, like, just influential, even though I didn't know at the time.
Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Jay.
Just to hear somebody rapping like that and just
Yeah.
deliver. I didn't know why I liked that at the time, because at the time, man, I was more into like Drake, you know, stuff like that. Kanye, you feel me?
Oh,
but
yeah,
to have
yeah,
somebody talking like real hustler talk, real, you know what I'm saying, over those beats and stuff like that, man, it was something that kind of, like I said, was embedded in me. But yeah, no, access is important. And like I said, what Deontay was telling me was, a lot of times, man, we always want to just jump to the higher tier, and we never look around to what's beside us, because, you know, if you got a homie who got a camera, that's your cameraman.
Exactly.
You feel me? And if you invest in him and he invests in you, you guys will keep on building as y'all, you know what I'm saying? As long as y'all are consistent with it, y'all keep on building, versus you spend, you know, $700 to shoot one video with a guy who really don't know you and really don't care.
Have a connection with you.
Yeah,
Yep.
he don't got no connection, versus your homeboy who, it might not come out, but you don't rap that good neither. You feel me? So while you guys are both still building up as a brand, start teaming up, start pulling on the resources around you. You know what I mean? Whether it's people, like I said, man, nowadays you can get a laptop, you can get a mic, and you can get started. You feel me? Get GarageBand, stuff like that. Like, laptop was something crazy. I didn't get a laptop till I was 18. Shoot, we had one computer in the house. You feel me? Bro? That's a family computer. You feel me? So it's
desktop,
like
the
the desktop,
yep.
boy, can't go nowhere with it. Right there in
Yep.
the family room, bro. Right there.
And one thing I wanted to mention is, you know, a lot of people, I got to keep going forward. I got to keep going forward. And they don't want to look back, and they don't want to look beside. But those is the plugs. You know what I'm saying? You got to connect the dots looking back in order to move forward. So just like we talked about before we even got on the show right now, we talked about the history of things. So with you speaking on connecting to the people to the side of you and behind you, that's your history. Them was people that was right there with you, and you tap into their talents, and then that's how y'all build that tight industry. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you mentioned that
Not
aspect
tight.
about it.
A big thing I think is that a lot of people, because forward is cool, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
The problem is, a big problem I had was everything for me was up. I was always trying to stack up. I wasn't really progressing nowhere. I just was trying to stack on the spot that I was already at.
Facts.
You feel me? And I realized, like you said, man, it really is more about growing out than it is up. Because up will happen eventually.
Exactly.
You know, like you'll get enough, you know, spikes here, spikes there, but it's about like an encompassing area. It's like you said, reaching out and getting a little bit of this from here and get a little bit of this from there and reaching out and going forward. forward here and maybe pulling something from behind there.
Exactly.
Like when you get that full encompassing thing, then it'll naturally just rise. But as for me personally, I think a lot of artists, we just think about us personally and how we can go up by ourselves.
Exactly.
How can, you know what I'm saying? How can we, you know, how can I get more popping? How can I get more seen? How can I get more, and you're not thinking about what's around you.
And what you're saying that you got to understand, it's not an individual sport. This shit is a team sport.
Team.
More do you know? But people got to be able to play their roles too. You got to know I'm the voice, bro. This is what I do. You got to know you the cameraman. You got to know you the mix and master. You the DJ. You the promote. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if everybody can play their role, then you got a, you know, full stream engine pumping. You know what I'm saying? Like a train. So yeah, bro, I appreciate you mentioning that. That's real dope. So, you know, when you speak about your music, you know, and I've listened to it, you know, what would you say is your overall intent to your listeners and your potential listeners in the future?
I'll be honest with you, man. Like, honestly, especially with this project here, just because of everything that was going on, when I went off to record this project, a guy, speaking of football, one of my childhood friends that I played football with, he ended up going to college, graduating, stuff like that.
For sure.
He got murdered in the summertime, like late in the summertime, you feel me? And then that very next day, my grandfather, like within 24 hours, my grandfather had died, and he was like a big part of my life, especially with me moving back to Columbus.
Right.
He was a huge part of my life, whatever, you feel me? So I just took off.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to make something. I had ran down to Kentucky because that's where my producer, Jesse Icy, shout out Jesse Icy,
For sure.
shout out Colt G, that's the team who let me put the tape together.
Shout out.
That's the fam, you feel me? But they, you know, I was on the run low key, you feel me? So I didn't sit down and really craft this whole masterpiece. It was literally like I had all these beats, or we had picked up the beats when I got down there, and literally the night before we record, I scrapped everything I had wrote. Like I wrote stuff completely different, and I just wrote everything down. And like I said, that's the thing about like God, like he helped me write myself out of a place, like really projecting, because now what I'm making now is projecting what I wanted to see for myself. So it's like, when it comes to like me and that connection to my listeners, really, man, it's just you seeing me on my journey. Like that's it. You feel me? Like
For sure.
It's not so much me trying to tell you to do something or tell you to be something. I'm really learning, man, as I grow. Like I'm really just on a journey. And if you can tap in with my journey and you can resonate and you can pull something from my journey, or you got questions or anything like that, like you said, me and you talked about before, just being transparent. That's what I'm learning more. It's like, just put it out there.
Yeah, just put it out there.
Put it out there. So a lot of this project was really me just projecting myself out of a dark space, and hoping to, I guess in terms of connecting, man, really hoping to connect to myself, man, and project into that space, man, and really who I just wanted to be. Like I said, the concept of South City is that, you know, I grew up on the South Side, but there's so much going on the South Side. It's like its own little city.
Yeah.
And so just like, you know, how like in LA, you know, they got, you feel me, like Compton, or they got Watts, they got, you know what I'm saying? And people literally represent these areas. It's like South City, bro, that's, you know, if they can do it out in LA, if they can do it out in New York, why can't I do it here? Exactly. Like, you feel me? This is like my neighborhood and just the experiences that I had in it. So I just want people to be able to tap in with that and resonate with that. Like, you know, this place, this area, man, is more than just a hood, bro. It's everything. You feel me?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, you know, you got some definitely got some good dialogue for sure. So I mean, you know, one of my things to measure my progression is taking steps day by day. You know, and some people say getting 1% better daily. And so as an artist and as a person, what are some things that you're doing daily just to make progression in your personal life, in your artistry life, in your business life?
I think the biggest thing for me, man, the biggest thing I've had to lean on lately is prayer, man, just because I'm seeing myself rapidly grow in so many areas. And like, you know, you have these projections of what you think you're going to do. And, you know, if I could just do that, you know what I mean? But literally, man, the project, maybe not from a number standpoint, but just in terms of impact standpoint, like all the places reach, being able to sit down with you, being able to sit down with Columbus Alive, being able to, you know, be up at OSU and doing interviews and stuff like that. Shout out to my publicist, Cardi, you know, and Carnelian, man, doing an excellent job. But like I said, man, once that happened, bro, I had to kind of retool myself, where it's like, damn, dude, you went further than what you thought before you even did really anything, any legwork or anything like that.
For sure.
So I'm having to kind of zoom back a little bit and get myself together, pray more, you feel me, think more, meditate more, really like
Collect yourself, recollect.
I thought I was going to be able to build up to a point and everything was just going to hit in stride. And it's like that first step was such a big step. This first month has been such a big month
For sure.
that it's like, damn, I got to collect myself, man, because now I'm out of balance kind of, you feel me? So literally every day, man, just tapping in with God, tapping in with the Creator, man, because it just starts there. And I literally probably pray small prayer 10, 15 times a day.
Oh,
Just
God.
stop. I'm gonna talk to him probably 5 more times for the nights out.
For sure.
You feel me? And I already talked to him about 10, 15 times today.
For sure.
So just these small, tapping in, connecting, you feel me? And then also just connecting with my people, man, whether it's in the community, whether it's in family. I can honestly say, man, that a lot of times I could beat myself up, but being able to check in with people and them being honest, having the right people around me to be honest with me, like, yo, Deuce, you messing up here. Or Deuce, you doing better here than what you thought. You feel me? So really, man, just tapping in with people, man, because that's the source of it, bro. It's really just the people pushing me up, man, and, or the people pushing me forward and God pushing me up. You feel me, bro? Like those two
Exactly.
things, like, just keep me going.
So with you mentioning, the spiritual realm, as far as you being engaged with God and aligning yourself and recollecting yourself and using that as, your foundation, what would you say emotions, how do those play a factor into what you're doing? Because one of the things that I've recognized within, not only myself as an individual, but as men, sometimes we're so successful, but emotionally we're unaligned. So how do you maintain that emotional strength as you go through this journey? And how important is that to you as an artist? Because, emotions create music. Emotions create circumstances. Emotions create passion and, those different dynamics. So what would you say the importance of emotional strength is to you as an artist?
I'll be honest with you, man. One thing as an artist, I think I need to be more emotional because a lot of times when it comes down to it, I can become very analytical.
Facts.
And just very, like, poignant, like, to the point about something.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's the only place where I can kind of gauge and control my emotions, you feel me? Like, so that's a place where I control them because honestly, a lot of times, man, and that's why I said leaning on the spiritual, leaning on the mental, you feel me? Even working on my physical, like, my emotions can run so wild, you feel me? I realized, man, like, shoot, yesterday, man, I remember I had like 2 nights ago, I had like a Trey moment, like off of Boys in the Hood. Nah, real shit, man, just because there was an incident that happened at the barber shop and somebody really close to me ended up getting shot. And it just was crazy, man. The whole situation was just so surreal, and you just never know that it can happen until it happens to somebody that you care about. And so, you feel me, man, my emotions were uproar then. And like I said, having God, you know what I'm saying, to uplift me out of a deep place and then having people around me to push me forward, man, you feel me? I went to my sister, bro, and I'm like, man, that's my little sister, you feel me? She like, listen, you chose this path.
Facts.
You know what goes down this path, you feel me? Yeah. So honestly, man, emotions is like water, man, and you got to let it run, and you just do your best to kind of contain it, you feel me, man? And I know certain things I just can't do. Like, I can't, no longer can I lash out in anger, which I had a really big problem with. And not anger in terms of, like, being mean, but explosive anger.
Exactly.
Like this type of stuff you bury down and then you just go off one day type
and
shit.
bottle it up. Yeah, for
I realized that's unhealthy, man. I couldn't do that.
It
So
is.
experience your emotions, deal with your emotions. And like I said, I use the spiritual, you feel me? And then I use the people that I have in the, to kind of, balance me out. Because honestly, me, I'm just going to be always, you feel me?
And just since we're on that topic, the listeners out here, man, look, understand your emotions. Understand how those emotions play a factor, whether it be, professionally, whether it be in relationships, whether it be in other dynamics or realms. Your emotions play a huge factor in your outcomes and success because you have to be able to balance them and understand the different type of circumstances that you're in. And sometimes it's strategic. You're playing chess. You know what I'm saying? So you got to outweigh, okay, my mind and then my logic. But then also, since we're speaking on emotions, understand, right now, this conversation is about 70% about how we feel. The other 30% is logic. So we want to make sure we're creating that energy of feeling with people because after this, we're going to think about it like, okay, how did I make that person feel? You know what I'm saying? Outside of my logical perspective. So when I think about it, when I'm listening to your music, always, remember, it's 70% about how I make people feel. And then the other 30% is that logic. But people work off emotions, sensations, look, see, feel, touch, smell. It's all an emotional sensation. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So when I'm listening to your music, I think it's really dope. You're creating an emotion. And just keep that in the back of your mind. You know what I'm saying? I want 70% of people, 70% of how I make people feel. That's why they going to keep coming. You know what I'm saying? So I guess, you know, like we already said, you kind of answered a lot of the questions I wanted to tap into. But it don't even matter. So I guess one of the biggest things is, how do you plan on continuously inspiring yourself and others? And I know you spoke on, you know, being in the Bible and being Christian and, you know, keeping your faith. But how do you plan on manifesting that to reaching more people and continuously to drive yourself?
You know what, man? I'm about to be 28 years old this year.
For sure.
And then for the first 27 years of my life.
When your birthday?
September 7th.
Okay. Libra?
Virgo.
Virgo. Okay.
So, but for the first 27 years of my life, or I'll say 26 and a half, almost 27.
Okay.
27 and a half. The point is, I have lived a, you know, somewhat selfish existence in terms of, even when I'm doing good things, man, just a selfish existence. And so for me, honestly, man, I'm inspired, bro, just because I have, you know, like I said, getting to know God better, getting to know better what he really wants us out here doing, getting to know better what I'm created for, who I am and stuff like that. The inspiration for me is just to continue to, it's the who I am show for me. But literally every day of my life is the who I am show. You feel me, man? So it's just like me always just, every time I think that I got something figured out, something else, you know what I'm saying, unfurls. And at first it used to be like, oh my God, I'm about to go crazy or did it. But I just like, no, that's life. Like when you think you got all your shit together, then something else pops out or something. And now it's always a problem, man. Sometimes it's just, you know, new shit. And you just got to learn how to deal with this new shit and new abilities and stuff like that. So for me, it's really about, man, just enjoying the journey. I think that's the biggest thing for me is if I enjoy the journey, and like I said, man, hopefully the manifestation of it is just in the actual of me living out my life and people being able to see me, you know what I'm saying? Not so much what I say, but what I do. Like the music is great, but you know, like in this song that's playing right now, you know, had to make it happen, but I started rapping, dope with the flows. I think that's the song. You know, dope with the flows, but I'm all about my actions. And so it's like, bigger than anything, man, it's just actions. I want people to be able to look at my life and as a Christian, as a man, mirror, you feel me? Like they want to mirror my behavior because like Deuce is always happy. Deuce is always enjoying himself. Deuce is, and I know not always happy, but Deuce is living a good life.
Exactly.
What's the secret sauce? You feel me? And then it's like, you know, then that's when you get into like, oh, well, Deuce has good spiritual balance. You know, Deuce got a good emotional balance. And those are all things that I'm working towards. You feel me? So I think the exciting part of it is that like, we, you know, ain't really scratched the surface, man. I'm 27 years old and I got a whole, you know, rest of my life to get better and to learn and to grow.
And it's, man, are we on these rush timelines right now, man? With social media, with, you know, being at a point to where we're not interacting with other people at all. Everything is just visual. Everything is just an illusion. So think about it. Like, you're 27. I'm 25. I'm about to be 26. But we feel like we should be here by now. But it's like, bro, you've only been alive for 26, 27 years. You was a kid for 18 years.
Yeah.
So like,
and honestly, longer than that, man. Like you were a kid for 18 years.
Exactly.
And then you kind of
still had to grow up.
Yeah, you so still gotta grow up.
Am I really tapped into who I am yet?
Not even close.
Or am I, like, you feel me? So you really gotta step back and be like, measure success and be like, let me take my time. Let me really process where I am and where I'm gonna go in the future, but let me be in the present. And when you speak about spirituality and God, walk in the presence of God.
Yeah. Facts.
You walking in the presence, of God.
Of the time, bro. Like, you spend too much time looking at the past, good or bad, you'll be stuck.
Looking at the future.
Looking at future, you'll be worried. But it's in the present. And that's something, like I said, I'm learning. And a big thing that, like I said, one of my role models just to know that life, you can continue to grow is my father, man, who really, in the last probably about 10 years, has just changed so much about himself, you feel me, from like a mental standpoint, growing stronger spiritually, man, from his physical, you feel me, my dad then lost probably like 100 pounds in the last 5 years, you feel me? So it's just like seeing him at, you know, he about to be 50, seeing him change things about his life, it's like, oh shit, it don't all just happen right at 27, at 28, 29. It keeps happening. Shit, before my grandfather passed, seeing him changed over the years that we spent together, it's like, oh, this shit, that's what life is about. It's a progression. It's not perfection. It's a progression.
Exactly. And what you speaking about that, you know, you as an artist now and who you gonna be in 2022, or who you even gonna be a week from now is gonna alter. You feel me? Because you're growing. You might see, like you said, you've been through some extreme circumstances in a short period of time within these last couple of weeks that you just spoke about. So, you know, those moments have shaped you up to now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, life, you just can't control it. It's unknown. It's an unknown variable. And that's what I think a lot of people fight with, just trying to control something that you in a sense, you do if you plan. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get on to that. But let's go ahead and tap into that. So, you know, you talked about your timeline. You talked about, you know, being on different radio shows, tapping in with different people, working with different people. So what's the strategy? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you planning and lining up things? Because, you know, as an artist and you're your own entrepreneur. You're your own venture capitalist at this point. You're investing in your craft. You're your own movement. With that movement, you got to have strategy. So kind of discuss your strategy and express that to other people in different paths, whether it be artistry or, you know, clothing, anything.
I think, honestly, man, the big thing for me, man, that I'm learning, because like I said, I started rapping, like I stepped in front of my first mic in 2011. I didn't realize that I wanted to be, like, I knew for sure I was going to be a rapper until 2015. I didn't do my first real show till 2017. Okay. So you talk about continuously growing, man, like, for me, the biggest thing that I think now, because I've went through different phases of, I need to do the numbers. And it's like, I did the numbers, but what was the impact? You feel me? Or I need to have this. I need to have the content. Oh, now people oversaturated because it's too much. So now, man, I'm just to a point, man, where the emphasis is going to be on growing out, like we talked about earlier. It's not about stacking up and being. It's literally about growing out. How many people can I connect with? How many people can I grow and touch? You feel me? And that's really just big for me in Columbus, where it's like, man, it's so many opportunities here. There's so many people here.
Sir, it is.
I got offered by a local studio. I got offered like this, you know, record contract or whatever. And even though it didn't end up working out, I realized, like, man, like one big thing we talked about, bro, like, is, you know, what's the movement? What's the impact? You know what I'm saying? So my goal really for the rest of 2021, man, is to just grow. I just want to do shows. I just want to connect. I want to impact and stuff like that. And then hopefully in 2022, you know, we look up a year from now, man, and South City has become such a big thing. And then my goal in terms of from the financial standpoint is just hopefully, man, the idea, man, is just to create like these capsules, man, that kind of commemorate the project in itself, you feel me? And as time goes on, it wouldn't be a year, you feel me? It's like, oh, Deuce dropped this new project. Here comes this capsule, you feel me? Because one person who I really looked up to and I really rocked with as an artist and as a person, period, was Nipsey Hussle, man. I loved his $100 concept, and a lot of people didn't know it wasn't the CD. It wasn't just $100 for a CD. It's like a CD, but it was also like a performance. You got merch and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to be able to do the same thing where I create enough of demand around here that I can then turn around and be like, yo, get the South City vinyl, you feel me? And stuff like that.
I'm glad that you just mentioned that, because you know they got those non-fungible tokens. So those artists, they're creating this content to where it's pretty much rare, and it's in a digital concept. So start thinking about that. It's called a non-fungible token, NFT. I don't know if you follow like EYL, Earn Your Leisure, different platforms like that, but it's called a non-fungible token. For all y'all listening out there, start creating digital art, because that is going to become the new art, because it's on your phone. Oh, I got this, y'all. Like, and then you can kind of digitize it and put it in your house and things like that. So if y'all get a chance, make sure you check that out, bro.
No, that's literally a part of the concept that I was trying to think. Because I knew with the music standpoint, like the music's on streaming platforms. So I just wanted to create something like a vinyl that would be a collectible item. I knew that I wanted to do some type of clothes. But like you said, that non-fungible is the next step in terms of like, okay,
future.
Yeah, but I say it's like, how can I create content that goes in this capsule? That's, you know what I'm saying? And then throw a show in with that, you feel me? So really like trying to think
next level with this shit, because even Microsoft, they just got a contract with the government for microlens, and they're working with, you know, the U.S. military. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So start thinking AR. Start thinking augmented reality. You know what I'm saying? You can get augmented reality. You can have my digital version of my, you know what I'm saying, my CD. You know what I'm saying? It's just
it can all play. It's all growing and changing. And so like I said, man, the goal though is that at least, like I said, by next year, the goal is to have 1,000 people spend $100 with me as an artist. And hopefully, like I said, it'll grow from there. So that's the goal. Is this year, man, is to promote,
Exactly.
and then next year be able to what's name.
But like you said, bro, keep expanding out. Like, cause you know me, I got a lot of ideas. I got a lot of things that I'm trying to do. But if I find that, once I find, you know, I'm doing my niche. You know what I'm saying? I'm on here chopping it up. But it's like once you find that niche, expand on that, and then that's how you build that collective audience of support, like you had spoke about, reaching out, and then growing. You know what I'm saying? Because then you got people voicing, then you got advocates, then you got people promoting word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? Then
And that's a big
Exactly.
thing man, that people don't think about. They just think
Exactly.
about
Social
what does
media.
this artist, what
You know
does
what I
this
mean?
artist have,
Okay.
and you know, I need a manager, I need to do this. Like, nah, bro, you just need to tap in with people.
Exactly.
Because that word of mouth game is something sick, bro. Like, and just something that was really cool, man. I remember I only have like 600 followers right now on Instagram. I used to have 6,000. Like I said, the numbers game and stuff like that. I was like, that shit didn't even. But with these 600 followers, man, I remember the day the project came out, man, I just reached out to them, bro, because I redid my Instagram so that people that were following me was people I actually knew. And so,
Exactly.
within like the first maybe like 72 hours, bro, I had like 200 reposts of the project. Just by reaching out, I'm like, hey, man, I just dropped something new. If you could show us some love, whatever, and people, you know what I'm saying, just asking them to do that, man, and really being tapped in with your audience to where it's like, I just had 200 people for free repost my project.
Exactly.
And God knows how many people seen it from that. I got people now being like, hey, man, you know what's crazy? I seen your project so many times from so many. And I'm like, damn, you know those people? Like, word?
Yeah.
Like, that word of mouth game is sick.
And then, but as we have mentioned too, how, well, I don't think we did, maybe. How can I get that data? How can I create that data and I create my own ecosystem off of it? I got those reposts, you know what I'm saying? But then how can I get those emails? How can I get those phone numbers? How can I get, okay, let me get your address. I can send you all the people who reposted within an hour. I'm sending y'all out, boom, a CD or a digital format or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of different angles to think about with it. Because, I mean, you know, I'll be thinking about a lot of different stuff. I ain't no artist. Yo, what's good? It's like,
He said, yo, he said, but if you need somebody on the next one, you feel
exactly.
me?
but you know, it's just about being open-minded and expanding your mind and being uncomfortable. Because a lot of times, like, sometimes we create moments of like, dang, I should have took advantage of that moment in a good sense.
Yeah.
But like I felt like they was trying to play me or whatever. Don't think for them. Be you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Push
then-
that boundary and see how they react.
Exactly. And then also, like, I learned, like, you feel me? Lost my train of thought, but we'll get back to it. but yeah, because I was going somewhere good with it. I'm gonna come back to it. But I guess we you know, you hit the ball on the nail, bro. It's you definitely have a lot of wisdom. You've offered.
I messed
a lot
up a
of
lot. That's why I have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, nah.
I done fucked up a lot.
but you know, 27 years. I mean, you still got a lifetime ahead of you. Take care of yourself, because you know, black don't crack.
Yeah, man.
As long as you take care of the
it.
internal, you feel me?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it's a pleasure to have you on the show. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how small the world is. Monte hit me. You here? I spoke to your young lady. You know what I'm saying? Your publicist.
Yeah.
And you know, she was on it, consistent. And now we're here. You know what I'm saying?
And the crazy part is, man, is that I wasn't even thinking nothing about it. I was just trying to get the project out. And I had known Cardi, you feel me, for about, at this point, a year. And she was launching Carnelian, and she was just like, you know, me and her had chopped it up, and just literally probably like a week before the project dropped, it's like, yo, if you need a publicist or need somebody just to push stuff for you, feel me, get it out there. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let's do that. I was nothing I was even thinking about, but let's do that. And then literally the results, I'm talking like a day, and then my stuff starting to pop up in all these different publications. I'm like, damn. Like you said, that connectivity, that team, it's like I would have never thought to. I was just struggling to get the project out for real.
Facts.
Like, you feel me? So to have somebody who, like you said, consistently is on top of it, all business, man, just like I said, man, just A1 service all the way around, man. So as artists, man, like you said, like, don't always go for what everybody else is doing. Don't always go for shiny. Take your chances, bro, because I took a chance on her, but she also took a chance on me because, you know, at the end of the day, for real, she could have reached out and people told her, like, man, all this shit sucked. And that would have been the first impression of Carnelian. So she trusted in me enough to be like, I'm willing to work with Deuce and see where, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And so us being able to connect as a team, we're both growing.